The final Saturday of the USL regular season brings us to Toyota Field, one of three matches this weekend that will decide the Western Conference playoff picture. San Antonio FC and RGV Toros FC in the South Texas Derby. And a pleasant good evening, everyone. Welcome upstairs to the broadcast booth along with Lance Key. I'm Dan Weiss. It's great to have you with us. For San Antonio FC, it's pretty simple. They need either a win or a draw and some help, Lance, if they want a shot at a postseason spot for a second consecutive season.
Such a different picture this year compared to this time last year. They're in a situation tonight where they need to come out and play well, probably most importantly, but they have to get points out of it. As you said, at least one. They really should get three to put themselves in the best posture going into playoffs here.
You see the standings for San Antonio FC right now sitting outside the top 8. But because of what could transpire tonight, they could finish as high as 7th. And we take a look at the scenarios first for San Antonio FC just to get in. They need, as you mentioned, a win or a draw. A win and a St. Louis loss or a Swope loss or draw gets them in. If they get 1 point, they need a Swope loss. Swope plays tomorrow. St. Louis plays tonight against OKC Energy FC simultaneous with this game, so we'll know a lot about what San Antonio's chances are when we wrap up here tonight at Toyota Field. But Lance, for San Antonio, they've played some great soccer here over the last couple of Saturdays, back-to-back 3-1 wins. But, you know, in a South Texas derby, you kind of throw all the records out, don't you?
Well, anything can happen tonight. And unfortunately, throughout the season, it seems like on any given night, anything could happen. SAFC have been inconsistent throughout the course of the season. They've played a couple of great matches these last two. They really need to continue to build on that tonight and show some consistency if they're going to be able to make a splash in the playoff hunt.
It is the last home game of the regular season. Hopefully it's not the last time that San Antonio FC fans will get a chance to watch their team here in this 2018 campaign. Fans are coming in, and they're getting ready for a South Texas Derby match tonight. Starting 11 and kickoff when we return after this.
Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino Hotel.
It's only a short drive from home.
Over 3,300 slots, poker, and live bingo.
I come for the drinks.
It's a great place to celebrate.
Come and play.
Hi, sports fans. I'm Jeff Davis, the San Antonio lawyer that's here for you. Some of you might be watching this game injured after a terrible accident. Did you suffer broken bones or have to have surgery? I want you to know that Davis Law Firm is here for you. And if you call us and you need us, we'll come to you during this game. And then we'll fight for justice and demand the cash settlement you deserve. Call me at 444-4444. That's 444-4444. Now, before we go back to the game, don't forget, there's only one number to remember, and that's 4.
Dinner table, entertainment center, luxury box. The best tailgates make the best tailgate parties no matter how you use them. Hurry in now to the Toyota Tailgate event to get great deals on a new Tundra, Tacoma, or 4Runner.
Right now, qualified buyers get 0% APR financing for 72 months, plus a $2,000 special edition bonus on a new 2018 Tundra Crewmax Special Edition. Toyota, let's go places.
This bud's for the dream and the people bold enough to pursue it. For those who come from nothing and rise to something. It's for those who take everything this country has to offer and make it their own.
Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino Hotel invites you to come and play. Over 3,300 of your favorite slots, a private poker room, bingo, and live entertainment every weekend. Join the Players Club and play your way to greater rewards.
Come and play.
Final Saturday of the regular season. Final game for San Antonio FC tonight. It is the third installment of the South Texas Derby. San Antonio FC taking on RGV Toros FC. Let's take a look at our starting 11s for both sides. First for the visitors from the Valley, RGV Toros FC already eliminated from playoff contention, 8 wins, 12 losses, 13 draws on the year. That is Wilmer Cabrera Jr. up top. He is the son of Wilmer Cabrera, the head coach of the Houston Dynamo. Of course, RGV Toros FC is the USL affiliate of the Houston Dynamo. The younger Cabrera, 18 years of age, just beginning his pro career. For San Antonio FC, they'll feature the same 11 that they did last night, or last Saturday, I should say. Greg Cochran, the captain, once again appearing in his 102nd game for San Antonio, trying to help the crew into the postseason. Methodist Healthcare has our injury report for tonight's matchup. It is our same injury report as it's been the last few weeks. Diego Restrepo, Stephen McCarthy, Ryan Felix all out with lower body injuries. Omar Gordon is also not available for selection tonight. He is on national team duty with Jamaica as well, so that's a blow for San Antonio FC. That man, Ever Guzman, has been San Antonio's hottest player, along with Lance Lang. Guzman, 10 goals leading the charge this year. San Antonio in their home black kits trimmed in red and white. RGV Toros FC in their away white kits trimmed in blue and orange. We are set to go for soccer for the final time in the regular season here at Toyota Field. San Antonio FC and RGV Toros FC meeting for the third time this year. Ironically, the first time here at Toyota Field. Both previous matches were down in the Valley. A 0-0 match back on May the 12th, and San Antonio winning 3-1 on August the 29th. Along with Lance Key, our entire crew, I'm Dan Weiss. Great to have you along here on this Saturday evening. It's a steamy night at Toyota Field. Temperature 84 degrees, but dew points in the 70s, so it's going to be humid tonight. There was some showers around earlier today, but we're expected to be rain-free for much of the evening. As RGV Toros FC playing for pride, San Antonio FC playing for a whole lot more in this one, needing points to keep their playoff hopes alive. Lance, as you said, 3 really puts the pressure on Swope Park Rangers tomorrow afternoon. A hard challenge on the keeper, Michael Nelson, up top from Jose Escalante, and he's going to get an early word from center referee Alejandro Marsical, who's working tonight with Jennifer Garner, Kaylee Terry, and Baltazar Peralhana.
Escalante, a great effort really to put some pressure on the young goalkeeper. Not sure if there was really a foul there to be called, but as we see is so typical. What we see is so typical against the goalkeeper. Those things often called, whether there's true contact or not. Referees early attempt to make sure things stay safe.
A challenge on Jose Enriquez outside wide there from Darnell King. It'll lead to a free kick opportunity for RGV Toros FC. You know, Lance, RGV, even though they're outside the top 8, will not be in the postseason for a second straight year. They've played very well, 4-1-1 over their last 6 matches. They've outscored the opponents 10-8. One of the stingiest defensive teams in USL play this season, tied for 13th in goals against, just 41 this year. They've had 6 0-0 draws over the course of the season, more than anyone in USL play.
And 13 matches where they've come out with draws as well. Just not a team that's very easy to break down.
They'll play a 4-3-3 up front, and Pablo Aguilar will play it out wide on the left side. RGV Toros FC with their first real possession in the zone, but stepping up here to take possession away, Lance Lang. 5 games this season with San Antonio FC with a goal and an assist, including last Saturday night in the 3-1 victory for San Antonio against Las Vegas Lights. As Cochran brings it up the left side, trying to send Mikey Lopez off, and it's ridden out by Omar Ontiveros. It'll be off Lopez, and it'll be a throw-in for Rio Grande Valley.
And you mentioned Lance Lang and his goal and assist production last week against Las Vegas Lights. I believe his first game here with the side was down in the Valley, where he did the exact same thing.
First start was down in the Valley. He did play against Real Monarchs SLC. It came on as a substitute the Saturday before, but his first start was down in the Valley, scored his first goal, got his first assist of that match, and in every game that Lance has played that he has scored in, he has added an assist. And so hopefully San Antonio and Darren Powell are seeing that continue here tonight, as Ethan Bryan will put the former Toro, Jose Escalante, out wide, dribbling into the area, concedes possession away. Escalante spent each of the last 2 seasons as a member of RGV Toros FC with 8 goals, or 7 goals rather, with the Toros. Cochran.
We see SAFC tonight in their 4-1-4-1 that they sort of settled into here in the last third of the season. Oftentimes, certainly since Lance Lang has arrived, we see Greg Cochran get up and down this touchline even more so than before. such an important part of the attack. The combination between those two players down this left touchline has proven to be very dangerous. Be very important tonight here for SAFC. They're going to take some points away from this match.
Playing very aggressive, Lance, as you'd expect they would, but you also wonder at times, you know, often over the last few weeks they've tried to settle into the game and it's ended up burning them because they've conceded first in what arguably has been most often in the opening quarter hour of the match, and it looks like they're trying to avoid that here tonight with their style to start. Nice lead into the box. Escalante breaks free, gets the shot off. Michael Nelson makes the save, and a good little set play put on by Ethan Bryant, flipping it over to the top there for Escalante.
Fantastic run from Jose Escalante, coming in from that right-sided touchline to get in behind. Really far more comfortable with his left foot, so ended up with that on the outside of his left foot, really with no angle.
Here's Lance Lang trying to whip this one in on a low ball. It ends up ricocheting back to him, and a return to Mikey Lopez and Cochran. Possession all San Antonio here in the first 5 minutes. And just one opportunity for RGV back the other way. Darnell King now settling down and returning to Cyprian Hedrick, who tonight makes his 22nd consecutive start since coming into the San Antonio lineup back in late May.
And you talk about a team in RGVFC who are very difficult to break down. You can already see their defensive posture here. Very deep in their own end, really not even picking up the pressure until coming into their final third. And those types of teams, because of the way they posture themselves, it's going to be important for SAFC to get those balls across the face of goal, which we've talked about so many times before. But even before they get to the end line and get those services in, can they look to get early services in behind the RGVFC back line and get those defenders turned running towards their own goal? That will ultimately create a little bit more space for them to operate.
This is going to be a throw for San Antonio. It looked like it hopped over Lang's foot, but they say a deflection on the ball sent in Lance's direction, so a throw in. But no harm there as Cochran tried to send it upfield. Nice job by Mikey Lopez anticipating the Nicolas Perea exit. Cochran sending it forward and headed out of harm's way. Pekka brings it down. Bryant, Pekka. Great sequence for San Antonio here again out of the gates. Learn of another throw in, and I guess Lance, again against an RGV team that is tough to break down, San Antonio has to maintain their composure, not get frustrated if they, don't get on the board here early on, because clearly they have a purpose in mind to start this game.
Well, you see their highest player is just at the edge of their defensive third. They've got all 11 players all the way back with a clear intent to defend, counter if the opportunity presents itself, which SAFC have shown to be a little bit vulnerable in those counterattack moments anyway. But to your point, it can become very frustrating over the course of 90 minutes. It's early on here. They look good. They look comfortable in possession. The ball is zipping around the field, which is important to move the ball at pace. But they're going to have to be patient, and they're going to have to be very deliberate about the type of service they get into the box and not just get into the habit of lumping balls in and hoping for the best. They've got to stay patient and stay purposeful with their possession.
RGV does not score very often. Tied for 29th in the league, just 35 goals on the season. And they play on after Pablo Aguilar was brought down. Aguilar is one of 3 players on this RGV Toros FC squad that played collegiately at the University of Virginia. Houston Dynamo has a real affinity getting players out of the UVA system. Of course, one of the elite college soccer programs in the United States, and this will go off of the attacking Jose Enriquez, or Jesus Enriquez rather, and a goal kick for Matt Cardoni.
And we talk about these transitional moments, even that last time, as that entry ball was played just to the edge of the top of the box there, San Antonio found themselves 3 versus 3 right along the edge of the box. Not really the way they want to be in terms of their organization. They've got to have that extra player to keep them tidy and keep them organized. Was not the case. Got to be careful in those transition moments.
As we said at the top of the broadcast, St. Louis and OKC Energy FC are playing simultaneously with this match tonight, and they are in the 9th minute there in St. Louis. 0-0 early on. We'll keep our eyes on that one. St. Louis has won 7 straight at home, trying to close out the year. 1 point for them will get them into the postseason tonight. They could finish as high as 6th in the table. There's a lot of key matches here in this final weekend of the season. Even though 6 playoff spots have been decided, you got to battle the top 3 to see who's going to be the #1 seed overall. Again, it's Escalante out wide on the attack. Right side here. He returns to Ethan Bryant. Bryant across to the back post, and nobody home for San Antonio.
Overhit that ball, did Bryant there. Escalante, again, as he's playing on that right-hand side, he really prefers to come in onto his left as he cuts across the face of defenders, cuts across the top of the box. It's not his comfort zone to get down to the end line and get service. And we've seen that hesitation there a couple of times now. He's found himself in really good position in that final 10 yards of the field, but indecisive and a little bit uncomfortable there with his right foot has led to really what is a poor quality first or final attempt at goal.
The keeper, Michael Nelson, for RGV, making his 7th start this season. He was the 20th overall selection by Houston Dynamo in this past Major League Soccer Super Draft. Becomes the 11th player selected in the first round of this past Super Draft to come to Toyota Field this season. We've mentioned that a lot in our broadcast this year. Nelson has been very good. He's given up just 3 goals in 6 matches with RGV. So it'll be a tough customer for San Antonio tonight. He has not lost in any of his 6 starts. Xavier Guzman, San Antonio's all-time leading goal scorer, leaves to Lance Lang, edge of the box, and just dribbled off his foot. I think he was unsure whether he was going to take it down deeper or whip it in, and just ended up, unfortunately, dribbling off his foot and over the byline.
Yeah, really unfortunate situation there. He made such a great run. He lifted his head up to find his target. I think at the end of that run, he was on heavy legs. You saw him with a little bit of effort here in his own defensive half, took some contact. And I think by the time he got to the end of that ball, he just didn't have anything left to get through it.
That's Todd Wharton wearing number 14. He's the captain for RGV and their most tenured player in his 3rd season with the Toros. 60 total games, 6 goals for the former Cavalier. Escalante, again, has been outstanding early on. He gets a hard challenge from behind. And the early caution will go up here in minute number 12. And outside wide there, I believe that's Sheldon Sullivan who's going to get the early yellow.
Really a great effort from Escalante to find himself in this position and just outran Sullivan there. Sullivan doing everything he can to try to stop that attack. There we saw Escalante coming inside of that diagonal with the ball on his left foot where he's so dangerous. Sullivan no doubt understands that, had to make sure it didn't carry on. But one of the things SAFC have done a nice job here in the early stages of this match is not only when they've had it, doing a good job of keeping it and circulating the ball, but they've done an exceptional job on the defensive side of things and really disrupting and breaking up any kind of rhythm for RGVFC. Every time they won possession, they've been under pressure, they've had a hard time connecting passes. So very good defensive effort here early from SAFC.
And on the flip side, this is arguably probably the best 12-minute sequence we've seen from Jose Escalante in a long time, which you might figure playing against his former club, but he has flown up that right flank here so far.
He definitely has been a bright spot.
And here's San Antonio's other bright spot as of late, Lance Lang. Now take this in on the left foot, free kick. Low ball, tipped it, goes just over goal. And it will turn into the first corner of the match for San Antonio.
And what Lance Lang has brought through the run of play has been fantastic, but also what he's brought on his delivery of set pieces. His delivery on set pieces has been very, very good since he's arrived. There was a great example of that. He just strikes the ball very well. He's able to texture it. He's able to put a lot of rotation on it. That time, that top spin rotation carried out over the end line.
And you've talked a lot, Lance, this season just about the delivery of these set pieces, the deliveries of balls into the box, and what a difference it's been since Lance has joined the club. And we'll get a foul inside the area. But it's so much of a difference when you have a player who's able to whip those balls in with texture and with pace, and when you have talented players on the other side of the ball able to finish.
Absolutely. And listen, that's one of the things Lance Lang has brought. And he's been very, very good, like I said, not just from the run of play, whipping those balls into the box, but also what he's done from the set pieces. and he does. He strikes the ball very, very well, and he's given something to SAFC they didn't have early in the season, which was some consistency of service, where the players on the other end of it had an expectation of where it was going to go. Really, really cannot put enough value in that type of consistency and quality of service.
And the foul on Pablo Aguilar, who was Dynamo's third-round pick back in 2018, this past spring Major League Soccer Super Draft, native of Guatemala. And with a challenge on Pekka, turning him inside out. '15th minute, San Antonio, RGV scoreless. 14th minute in St. Louis. St. Louis and Oklahoma City scoreless. Tomorrow, Swope Park Rangers, LA Galaxy 2 o'clock from Kansas City. And whether that game will have meaning for San Antonio will be determined by the end of tonight. Cochran lets it go off his foot on the attack at the left side. Almost some early nerves, you'd think, Lance, from players who I understand know the importance of tonight's match and maybe feeling the butterflies a little bit early on.
Yeah, and uncharacteristic touches. You think about the time Lang was there, just coming into the box near the end line and just couldn't get good contact. That time Cochran was in great position, a great little combination between him and Lang along this near-sided touchline, and just an errant touch and uncharacteristic. And to your point, there's a lot on the line tonight. These guys, certainly these veteran-type players, understand what's on the line. They know how important every touch is, every time down the field is. They're trying to get the most out of it. Just got to relax a little bit, let the nerves settle.
Lang sends a ball on the run for Cochran, just a little too heavy with that ball forward. But, you know, overall, first quarter hour, San Antonio couldn't have asked for really a better start. I mean, again, we talked about a club this year that has struggled to start games. Not so tonight. They have come out with an entirely new set of purpose to try to get that first goal, to try to play with the lead. And I'm sure Darren Powell really liking what he sees on the bench right now.
They've looked sharp overall, as we've said, not only in possession, but their defensive effort. Their organization has been overall pretty good. The one area where it's lacking, and certainly Darren would say the same thing, is that final 10, 12 yards, getting the quality off of that last ball, the quality off of that last touch. It hasn't quite been there, but as they work themselves into it, they've created a good foundation for themselves.
Mo Hernandez, as he returns it to Matt Cardoni. Little action for Cardoni so far in this match. 6-5-1, his record this season, really since coming on in replace of Diego Restrepo, who's been hurt for the last couple of months of the season. Last year's USL Keeper of the Year. Cardoni now 17-12 for lifetime. This is his 34th match all-time with San Antonio FC. And now San Antonio starting to settle a little bit here into this one. As Hedrick will put it out wide. Darnell King looking in Ever Guzman's direction. Defended away from him, and on the return counter, it's RGV Toros. Carlos Small looking upfield. As Enriquez tried to work his way free and unsuccessful. San Antonio back on the ball. Cochran. Lang making the run. Cochran didn't get that one through. A little miscommunication perhaps with Lang. Cochran a little bit upset perhaps early on with his play so far. Meanwhile, RGV on the attack. This play is onside for Carlos Small. Small, a little bit too heavy on that right foot, puts it over goal. And that's probably what RGV is going to end up with more often than not tonight in terms of the attack, Lance.
They're going to find those moments through the run of play as SAFC continue to have possession and get numbers forward and trying to work themselves into those goal-scoring opportunities. They're going to sacrifice a little bit of that space in the back end of their shape, and that's where they have to be very, very careful. They cannot afford to do against a team who is so stingy in defending, is to give up something early and or give up something first and find themselves trying to claw back in.
Escalante trying to get on the end of this one. It's over him and out of play for a throw. Mo Hernandez delivering that ball deep.
What a fantastic service that was from Mo Hernandez. That is not an easy ball to hit. As a former left-sided defender myself, I have a tremendous appreciation for that type of quality of service.
So did Escalante. He applauded the service there. As Bryant will turn Escalante loose back off to the corner stick. Defended by Sheldon Sullivan. Escalante. Return to Ethan Bryant. Mikey Lopez As the defense collapses, back out Hernandez. Whips it across to Lance Lang by the touchline. Lang, service is defended away there by Manny Padilla. And it'll be a throw for RGV. Into the 20th minute, scoreless at Toyota Field. This is all-time the 10th meeting in 3 seasons between San Antonio and RGV lifetime. San Antonio, 3 wins, 4 defeats, 2 draws. They've been outscored 10-9 by the Toros, but San Antonio in the last 5 matches has taken 3 out of the 5. Nice shot by Mo Hernandez as he runs down Wilmer Cabrera Jr. On the byline, San Antonio trying to exit the zone, and a foul on Pablo Aguilar, and a little bit surprised. And Aguilar is going to be served a yellow as well here in the 20th minute.
I did not expect that sequence to end with Aguilar going into the book. Perhaps a little bit worse there in the replay than it looked the first time through. Really aggressive tackle going in. I don't know that it was a tremendous amount of contact. However, the intent certainly looked pretty forceful.
This is an RGV team that is near the bottom in fouls, near the bottom in yellows. They've already got 2 in the first 20 minutes. It's only their 39th and 40th of the season, where San Antonio begins the night second in USL, plays 76 cautions raised against them over the course of the campaign. Cabrera Jr. As he returns, Nicholas Perea and Todd Wharton will send forward. Enriquez, an errant ball at Ethan Bryant, came back to head out, headed right to Carlos Small, however, but well defended before Small can make the move into the box.
Great convergence of defensive numbers there for SAFC. That first ball out from Ethan Bryant, really, with the space and how it developed, should have gone back to Matt Cardoni off his head. There was plenty of space to be able to manage that, but tried to play it out and just didn't have the power to put behind it to clear that first line of RGVFC players. Ultimately, not nearly as bad as it looked like it could have been. Fortunate for SAFC.
Ever Guzman. They've worked the right side a lot here early. Bryant will return to Darnell King. A lot of space for Darnell as he runs into the middle of the park, and now will return it to Mo Hernandez. Switch the play, Greg Cochran out by the touchline. Good patience for San Antonio. Lopez didn't see anything he liked. Return to Hernandez. Hernandez sends it in. Guzman brings it down. Nice job on the recovery by Sheldon Sullivan before Ever could get his right foot on it to strike it home.
Another really good ball in there from Mo Hernandez. That time just bending and peeling back away from the goalkeeper. Dropped it right in behind that weak side defender. Ever Guzman doing what he does so well, is playing off that weak side shoulder. A little bit unfortunate with his first touch, but found himself in a good position there. Mo Hernandez finding himself a way to pick up space and carry forward and be a part of the SAFC attack tonight.
Second corner for San Antonio and Lance Lang. An in-swinging ball coming in from the far side. Comes to the near post, and we'll do it again. Off of Carlos Small.
Last time bending and whipping and really coming down right at the base of the near post.
Another low ball for Lang, headed right to Bryant. Come back to Lang. Another good service in. San Antonio on the board. Ever Guzman has his 11th of the season in the 24th minute. San Antonio FC leads 1-0.
And off the left boot of Lance Lang, who else? Another fantastic service, and you just look at the number of opportunities as you continue to let Lance Lang find his way into the match. The quality of his service and the purpose of his service continues to get better and better and better. And that time, what a great ball to the far post, bending onto frame. And whether it was Guzman or Hedrick, they were both there, both in great position. But it was Guzman to smash it home, to go up 1-0. loving the combination that we're seeing between Guzman here and Lang over the last few games. Starting to see that partnership develop and really build. And a very, very important goal for SAFC to go up 1-0 here in the 24th minute.
It's amazing, just the 12th time this season they have scored the opening goal in 34 matches, but rewarded for what has been a very, very good first 24 minutes tonight for the home side, as Ever Guzman gets his 16th career goal with San Antonio, and tonight his 38th match for Lance Lang, his 6th assist and his 16th point since joining the club for a player who did not join the club until August.
He's had a tremendous impact. There's just no other way to discuss and to weigh out what he's been able to do since he's arrived here in San Antonio, but to say what a tremendous impact on both sides of the ball in almost every match he's been a part of. He's been so, so dangerous.
Meanwhile, Carlos Small getting an opportunity that's blocked in the area, and a quick counter back the other way by the Toros. And San Antonio able to dodge that one.
Lots of numbers back there for SAFC. Not a lot of really good defending. Numbers in the area, but not purposeful numbers. We're fortunate. Small just couldn't find the space he needed to get that off onto target to try to put it past Matt Cardoni. So important, and youth players hear this all the time from your coaches, and certainly the coaches should be saying that. Those moments right after a goal is scored either way are so, so important from a mental standpoint, staying mentally engaged and not conceding time at the expense of being distracted or overly caught up in the goal that was just scored. They're kind of a good example. SAFC found themselves defending in really kind of a tight situation, a difficult situation there right after they went up 1-0. Got to stay switched on.
So it's 1-0 San Antonio. Meanwhile, it's 0-0 St. Louis, Oklahoma City. That match moving into the 26th minute. A win by San Antonio puts the pressure really on Swope Park Rangers tomorrow afternoon, who hosts LA Galaxy 2. They would have to win that match, take all 3 points to outlast San Antonio to get into the last playoff spot. Because a point tonight for St. Louis eliminates San Antonio from catching them. Doesn't eliminate San Antonio from the playoff picture, but eliminates any chance San Antonio would have to catch St. Louis, and would theoretically leave just the 8th and final playoff spot open. The goal allowed by Michael Nelson, just the 4th one he's given up in 7 matches this season.
Nelson's such a big, rangy goalkeeper, covers so much space. Talented young player, but you know, as you said, just doesn't give up much. RGVFC as a side don't give up much, so important for SAFC to get on the board early, considering their circumstance, considering their need for points tonight.
Errant ball there through the middle of the field. A turnover to Lance Lang. Running 2 against 3. Lang gives it a go, and blocked out of play. Will be a 3rd corner for San Antonio.
You had a sense Lang was going to try to have a go at goal there. You saw Ever Guzman just trail off to the backside of the D, but really wasn't able to find any space there. Lance Lang was looking for it, waiting for it to develop. In the end, felt like it probably was running out of space to play Guzman in, and can be so dangerous striking the ball there from the top of the box. We've seen him score goals there before. Ultimately, another corner for him. This time an outswinger.
Even on the corners that he doesn't hit very well, still look dangerous coming into the box. He didn't hit those first 2 particularly great over on the other side. And here he goes again. 3rd Circle K corner of the match for San Antonio. This is a good ball to the top of the 6-yard box. Hedrick puts it out wide of frame, though. It'll be a goal kick here. Michael Nelson, 3-time goalkeeper of the year in the American Athletic Conference, playing with Southern Methodist University for the Mustangs, native of Katy, Texas. And again, he was the 20th overall pick by Houston Dynamo in the MLS Super Draft this past spring. It's what this hybrid affiliation between Dynamo and RGV Toros FC gives them. RGV Toros owns the business side of things. Houston owns and operates the soccer end of the business. Nicholas Perea Return to Manny Padilla. Omar Ontiveros. Not a lot of returnees. If San Antonio fans are wondering, again, this being RGV's first visit to San Antonio, there were only 3 players in this 11 that appeared against San Antonio last season. As Padilla earned RGV a throw.
Decent defending there from Greg Cochran. Really was the defending of the players in behind him that sealed up those lanes. Padilla wasn't able to find that central pass into the final third there that he was looking for. And that's just an example of the type of defending SAFC have done tonight. They've done a really good job of getting numbers in behind and overall taking up good positions and cutting out passing lanes.
Hedrick runs it down ahead of Carlos Small, and a throw for RGV. Carlos Small came over mid-season. He's got 4 goals in 14 matches. Big number 9 striker up top from Panama, and Dynamo really likes what he brings to the table. Signing him to a contract here with their USL side. Could be in line for a spot with the big club perhaps next season, the way he's shown here in this last quarter of the season for RGV.
He really is such a big physical presence.
And there he is again on the run off that left side. Small hops around the defense down to the byline. Keeps it. No, he did not keep it alive. As the referee assistant to the near side made the call, Carlos Small could not keep it alive over by the byline.
Impressive. If this AR1 here on the near side picked that up, didn't look like it went out of bounds to me. It's a very, very long way from where she is, having to look through 2 posts. Looked like he was able to keep it in there, but unfortunate for Small. But as we said, such a big presence. You can see the type of athleticism he can display there as Mikey Lopez came, not the slowest of players on the field, and just wasn't able to get there.
Guzman running on Kyle Adams. Guzman into the area. Guzman plays it towards the back post. Nobody home. And will end up being a goal kick.
And for me, with 3 players really in the middle of the park with Mikey Lopez, Pekka, and Ethan Bryant, as Guzman works his way out into that outside channel or further outside in the edge of the box there, one of those 3 needs to push into that space and push central. They've got to get an extra runner in the box there when Guzman isn't that player.
Wilmer Cabrera's onside, but Greg Cochran will take him off the ball. Meanwhile, Cardoni puts it sky high into the air, and this ball stays in play. Manny Padilla off his back foot, able to return to Ontiveros. Ontiveros return it to Michael Nelson. About to cross into the 33rd minute at Toyota Field, 1-0. Off the goal by Ever Guzman, his 11th of the season, which, by the way, is the single highest goal total in 3 seasons by any San Antonio FC player. Ever and Billy Forbes with 10 were tied up until Guzman here in the 24th minute to give San Antonio the lead with his 11th of the year. Carlos Small, good ball in for Cabrera, but just a little heavy on the touch. Cardoni comes up with it.
You like that idea from Carlos Small, who recognizes if they can put some of those balls in behind the back line of SAFC, get those defenders turned, much like I was saying SAFC needed to do to RGVFC. But that was a great example there. Bending that ball from right to left, pulling away from Matt Cardoni into the run of attacking players. They just didn't have anyone in the box to get on the other end of it. But you like the idea there from Small.
Enriquez will bring this down. And we'll play on after Cabrera went down. And San Antonio in possession.
You like how Lance Lang, when he tucks inside there and the ball's on that far side, on the right side for SAFC, he tends to tuck inside and really creates that movement channel for Greg Cochran here along this near touchline. He recognizes the value, he clearly recognizes the value of Greg Cochran getting forward and combining with him in the attack for SAFC, and I like what he's done. He's very deliberate about creating that space for Greg Cochran. Really, really important.
Cabrera making the run again on Cyprian Hedrick, but Can't bring it down. A throw for San Antonio. So Ever Guzman has rewritten San Antonio's record books twice here so far this season, moving into #1 all-time in goals scored. Now 16 and 11 of them in this campaign alone, the most ever in a single campaign for a San Antonio FC player.
When you think about how important he was in last year's run to the playoffs, how significant his goal scoring ability was late in that season to really continue to catapult them forward and up the table, and has just continued to do that here this year. So much of the season he's missed. So it's great for SAFC to have him in, and then certainly to have the type of service you're getting from Lance Lang here on the left-hand side.
He missed 7 matches very early in the season after getting hurt in Las Vegas back in late April. San Antonio able to survive without him over those 7 matches before he could get back in, and what a difference he has made. But you alluded to it, just there seems to be some unspoken chemistry between him and Lance Lang, and a lot of it just frankly on the balls that Lance has been able to deliver into the box, into those tight spaces that ever likes him. There's Carlos Small running, Hernandez trying to let it ride out, he will.
Well, Lance Lang understands that if he's going to be at the best that he can be, that's going to incorporate him being a server. He's such a good ball striker, and he recognizes that that's one of his strengths, but he also recognizes he's got to have somebody on the other end of that. And he knows that in the type of player that Cheno Guzman is, who likes to lurk on the weak side of that far center back and find those spaces in around the face of the 6-yard box, he recognizes the value. So he knows if I can just whip that ball in there and get it into that vicinity, Guzman's going to be able to get on the end of it more often than not. And at the same time, Guzman recognizes the type of service that Lang's bringing. And you like that partnership. And I like how that partnership really starts with, as I've mentioned before, with Greg Cochran here at left back, and the 3 of them and how they've combined and been so dangerous in the attack.
Errant ball this time sent forward here. Carlos Small hikes his way through Mo Hernandez, switches the play to the left side. Nobody there, however, for RGV.
You see Small getting a little bit frustrated here in the latter stages of this match. Just can't seem to connect anything.
It's almost as if he'd like a Cheno Guzman right now on his side. Ethan Bryant turns it upfield. 2 collapse on him. Possession conceded. Bryant at 17 years of age, the youngest goal scorer ever for San Antonio FC. Getting his first against Seattle a couple of Saturdays ago. Makes his 10th start this year. Product of the San Antonio FC Academy. And there's a player for RGV on the bench tonight, Brandon Morales. He is a product of RGV's Academy. So 2 programs starting at identical times, 2 academies starting at identical times, and now we're 3 years into the process, Lance, and some of those fruits starting to bear a little bit here.
Well, it's important. That's part of the organizational culture that you're trying to create, is you're trying to create that pathway for these young players to be able to train and develop and own in on their skills as professionals coming out of the youth ranks. And so, as you said, it's great to see both programs having some fruit of that effort and seeing a couple of their players step into these types of ranks and these types of environments and play significant parts. I mean, we've seen the significance of Ethan Bryant over the course of the season, what he's been able to do in terms of a ball striker. We saw him have a cracking goal a couple of weeks ago here, again off the other end of a Lance Lang service. But that pathway to the pros is so important.
Guzman sending it across Cochran. Working with Lance Lang. Cochran makes the run. Lang takes it himself. Now a nice return ball, Cochran, and the play deemed offside.
Great little underlap there from Greg Cochran. I think he kind of gave up on it. He just expected Lance Lang to continue to go, but Lance Lang never gave up on the run. He did a great job to reward it. He was pretty disappointed, I think, in the end result. He thought he had played Cochran in. Escalante with more pressure. there against Michael Nelson, as we saw in the early stages of the match.
Just all around, not the best exit there for RGV from the pressure put on by Escalante. Results in a throw for San Antonio. Spent a majority of this half in the attacking third of the field. Fighting forward here, but a little bit too over-aggressive on the run for Darnell King, trying to work forward. Man, oh man. Ever Guzman there on the right side. They had a lot going. And that was Pekka, rather, who was coming forward. Rather King.
Yeah, it was a good run from Pekka. Everything was just at a full extension on that little sequence of combination there.
It remains 0-0 in St. Louis as they cross into the 40th minute. And again, a point, a draw for St. Louis tonight clinches a playoff spot for them. You wonder, does that figure into their play tonight against Oklahoma City, who's already been eliminated? Meanwhile, here's Pablo Aguilar. He'll play upfield. Nicolas Perea. Return ball. Aguilar's got some space, and he'll push it out wide. Enriquez, edge of the box. Enriquez cutting in 1 against 2. Still in possession, trying to whip it across. Defended. Comes high to the air. Carlos Small brings it down. Not the best touch, however. And Pekka will take it away.
It's a really good defending there from San Antonio. Did a great job of getting numbers in behind the ball. Allowed Darnell King to be patient. You saw Mikey Lopez come across there and give him some support.
Cabrera and Enriquez. And now Perea. Some daylight. He was looking in Pablo Aguilar's direction and missed on the connection.
And just from a numerical perspective alone, RGVFC are getting 5 players forward and SAFC are getting 7 and 8 players in behind it. And that's why they're just not able to have any success.
Again, some more defending there from Cyprian Hendrick after an errant ball through the middle of the park. Allowed RGV to try to counter with some numbers, but were unsuccessful. A collision right in the middle of the field between Nicolas Perea and Jose Escalante, who's down.
I think it might have been Enriquez. It's Enriquez and Escalante. I'm not sure what happened. It seemed to be.
Ooh.
Looks so clean there. A lot of pressure against Enriquez there from Escalante, who pressured the backside.
Escalante is up and he's okay. There's Darren Powell on the San Antonio bench, and I want to mention tonight before the game, Darren Powell, along with his father Trevor, presented a check for $5,000 to the Michael J. Fox Foundation. If you've not been following along with Darren this season, he has been doing a series of 5Ks to raise awareness for Parkinson's disease. His father Trevor just recently diagnosed with the disease, and I know Darren was especially proud to be a part of not only these runs, but to raise money. And on behalf of Darren, Spurs Sports and Entertainment making that $5,000 donation to the Michael J. Fox Foundation prior to the game tonight. So Enriquez and Escalante and now Cochran all with a word.
I'm curious to see what Mariscal does here. Seems as if he's setting up a free kick for RGVFC.
Even though it looked like the yellow was assessed against RGV.
So just trying to process through trying to process through if he's called a foul, and he's given a caution, then you would think.
Well, it sounded like the caution was against Aguilar, who was not involved in the play, in at least that particular play. So RGV takes the possession, and it is Enriquez, rather. Aguilar already had a yellow earlier.
So I'll let you figure out how that was a free kick against SAFC. Let you fill me in once you figure that one out.
We'll let our crackpot crew back in the truck handle that. RGV with a throw here as we come down to the closing seconds of the opening half. An opening goal for Ever Guzman in the 24th minute. San Antonio with a 1-0 lead. Guzman's 11th of the season. Meanwhile, in St. Louis, no score between Energy and St. Louis FC. St. Louis setting up for a free kick here late in the first half there. St. Louis, which has won 7 in a row at home. As we'll get 1 minute of added time here at the end of the first half. Enriquez on the attack. Edge of the box, fights his way in, brought down, will play on. And now an errant ball that Lance Lang got a right foot on at the last moment to poke it away from Manny Padilla. Was trying to perhaps intercept and run forward with a little bit of purpose. Padilla will settle as he works it back with Perea. Worked away from Cabrera Jr. out wide, and Cabrera will take the throw in here for RGV late in this first half of stoppage time. Maybe one last opportunity for the Toros here before halftime. And Cabrera Jr. loses possession. Another throw here for the Toros.
I think he's given a free kick
Oh,
away
he is
against
going to
Darnell
give him a
King.
free kick, you're right.
I'll have to see that again to believe there was a foul involved.
So Todd Wharton setting up here for the free kick, which will arguably be the final play of this opening half. Torres trying to get on the board before halftime, trying to even this game up. San Antonio looking to take the lead into the locker room after 45 minutes. It's Wharton, the right-footed in-swinger. Low ball in, defended across and out, and that will do it for the opening half. Ever Guzman's goal in the 24th minute has San Antonio, who needs all 3 points tonight to put themselves in the driver's seat. They're up 1 on Rio Grande Valley FC Toros. We'll take a break. Our halftime commences right after this from Toyota Field.
Thanks. It's like a smart thing. What's the weather?
Sunny. Perfect chicken eating weather.
How'd you get in here?
It's time for chicken.
What's the traffic like?
Rerouting you to chicken.
Okay.
Hey, Calzo, order pizza.
Ordering chicken.
No, pizza.
Chicken.
Okay, chicken it is.
Chicken biscuits made fresh daily for breakfast.
Now that's smart.
Corner stores are proudly becoming Circle K, home of the Polar Pop Cup. That's right, you can enjoy any size Polar Pop Cup filled to the brim with your favorite flavor for just 79 cents at any corner store. Nothing stays cold longer, and the Polar Pop Cup is the best way to quench your thirst. Stay refreshed all day long for just 79 cents. Corner Store, proudly becoming Circle K.
They start so small, but bring big life changes. They are now your entire world. And that's why buying a home, protecting your assets, and setting up your family's future requires the right planning and expertise. Your cargo is precious, and your journey is just beginning. It's your story, and we can help. SWBC.
You know, things are different here in Texas. For instance, fiddle players are rock stars. Cowboy boots are formal wear. And ice cream is Creamy Creations. Churned in the heart of Texas from deep in the heart of H-E-B. If you're not from here, well, you just don't get it. It's creamy. It's tasty. It's how Texas does ice cream.
When it needs to be ultra exciting, high flying, non-stop action, San Antonio FC Soccer's got you covered. When it needs to be high performing, hard working, high tech, super safe, built for comfort, and surprisingly affordable, Holt Cat has got you covered. With best-in-class cat heavy equipment, engines, generators, and more, plus legendary service and support, and the largest parts inventory and distribution network in Texas. Kick it into high gear with Holt Cat.
This bud's for the dream and the people bold enough to pursue it. For those who come from nothing and rise to something. It's for those who take everything this country has to offer and make it their own.
Dinner table. Entertainment center. Luxury box. The best tailgates make the best tailgate parties no matter how you use them. Hurry in now to the Toyota Tailgate event to get great deals on a new Tundra, Tacoma, or 4Runner.
Right now, qualified buyers get 0% APR financing for 72 months, plus a $2,000 special edition bonus on a new 2018 Tundra Crewmax Special Edition. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, sports fans. I'm Jeff Davis, the San Antonio lawyer that's here for you. Some of you might be watching this game injured after a terrible accident. Did you suffer broken bones or have to have surgery? I want you to know that Davis Law Firm is here for you. And if you call us and you need us, we'll come to you during this game. And then we'll fight for justice and demand the cash settlement you deserve. Call me at 444-4444. That's 444-4444. Now, before we go back to the game, don't forget, there's only one number to remember, and that's 4.
Halftime at Toyota Field, San Antonio FC up 1 on RGV Toros FC in the third and final installment of the South Texas Derby and the regular season finale here at Toyota Field. And welcome back upstairs to the broadcast booth. Along with Lance Key, I'm Dan Weiss. Great to have you with us. San Antonio FC needing 3 points to put themselves in the driver's seat. The 8th and final playoff spot. They still need some help if they were to get the win tonight from LA Galaxy 2, who's playing Swope Park Rangers. But San Antonio had to take care of business tonight. Lance, through 45 minutes, they're doing that thanks to a Cheno Guzman goal.
They are, and they were very good at the beginning of the match, as we talked about. They did a great job on the attacking side. They were very good in possession. The ball was circulating quickly. On the defensive side, they had numbers in behind, and they continued to just put the pressure on RGVFC in every aspect of the game until they got that goal and they broke through. It was a great ball in here from Lance Lang on really a recycled service that came back out. Cheno Guzman lurking there on the far post and makes no mistake about it.
16th career goal for Cheno, most all-time in San Antonio history. Is 11th this year, also a team record. A look at the numbers. San Antonio really dominating just about everything across the board. As you see, they did not give RGV Toros very much in that first 45 minutes of play, Lance. But, you know, the question now for San Antonio as they go into the second half is, do they continue with this attack? Do they play it more defensive? How does Darren Powell not only manage what he does on the field, but also manage his personnel here in this next 45 minutes?
They have to manage risk versus reward for sure. They're already in a position to get 3 points, which they desperately need tonight. So they don't want to overextend themselves going forward. They want to stay organized defensively and not give anything silly away, but they can't afford just to sit back and defend for the next 45 minutes because it's just not the right way to play. It's not the safe way to play. That's ordinarily where you end up giving something away silly.
We'll take a break. Our halftime continues after this. San Antonio up 1 on RGV Toros FC, looking to get into the postseason for the second straight year.
Providing the fuel to take you there, no matter where there is. Top-tier quality fuels from Valero keep your engine running cleaner, better, and longer.
Thanks. It's like a smart thing. What's the weather?
Sunny. Perfect chicken eating weather.
How'd you get in here?
It's time for chicken.
What's the traffic like?
Rerouting you to chicken.
Okay.
Hey, Calzo, order pizza.
Ordering chicken.
No, pizza.
Chicken.
Okay, chicken it is.
Chicken biscuits made fresh daily for breakfast.
Now that's smart.
Things are kind of different here in Texas. Football is more than a game. It's Greek mythology. Parking lots are banquet halls. Pickups are water parks. And ice cream is Creamy Creations. Churned in the heart of Texas from deep in the heart of H-E-B. If you're not from here, well, you just don't get it. It's creamy. It's tasty. It's how Texas does ice cream.
The youngsters enjoying this one through 45 minutes. San Antonio FC up 1 for RGV Toros FC here in the regular season finale. Fan appreciation night at Toyota Field. Let's take a look at our scores from around the rest of the USL here on this final Saturday of the season. The one, of course, we've been paying attention to all night in St. Louis. They're at the half. No score between St. Louis FC and OKC Energy FC. St. Louis clinches a playoff spot with 1 point. There are two interesting matches later tonight. Real Monarchs SLC, Phoenix Rising taking on Portland. The top three teams in the Western Conference table, Lance, separated by 2 points, trying to get that #1 outright spot in the Western Conference. And of course, tomorrow we are watching Swope Park Rangers and LA Galaxy 2. And the reason is San Antonio, one of 3 teams vying for 2 spots down the stretch here. San Antonio, as we mentioned, they need to either win or take a point tonight to keep their hopes alive. But they will need help regardless, either in the form of a St. Louis loss, or if San Antonio wins, a Swope loss or draw tomorrow. If San Antonio only musters 1, they need Swope to lose outright to get into the playoffs. We'll see what happens in the next 45 minutes. San Antonio looking for 3. Second half coming up next.
Providing the fuel to take you there, no matter where there is. Top-tier quality fuels from Valero keep your engine running cleaner, better, and longer.
Thanks. It's like a smart thing. What's the weather?
Sunny. Perfect chicken eating weather.
How'd you get in here?
It's time for chicken.
What's the traffic like?
Rerouting you to chicken.
Okay.
Hey, Calzo, order pizza.
Ordering chicken.
No, pizza.
Chicken.
Okay, chicken it is.
Chicken biscuits made fresh daily for breakfast.
Now that's smart.
Things are kind of different here in Texas. Football is more than a game. It's Greek mythology. Parking lots are banquet halls. Pickups are water parks. And ice cream is Creamy Creations. Churned in the heart of Texas from deep in the heart of HEB. If you're not from here, well, you just don't get it. It's creamy. It's tasty. It's how Texas does ice cream.
Welcome back to Toyota Field as we get set for the start of the second half of play. San Antonio FC on top of RGV Toros FC by a score of 1-0. That's the man not only of this last hour, but really this last quarter of the season, along with Lance Lang, Cheno Guzman, have really been the story for San Antonio FC's attack. Guzman with his 11th goal of the season tonight, moving past Billy Forbes, the all-time single-season goal lead in franchise history, and Lance Lang picking up his 6th assist and his 16th point since coming over from FC Cincinnati on loan in late August. And as we know, Lance, when Lance Lang gets an assist, he also gets the back of the net too, usually in the second half. And we'll see whether that trend continues here in this second half tonight.
Well, as the game continues on, I certainly wouldn't bet against him. He just continues to be so dangerous down that left-sided flank. Both getting around the outside of that outside defender, cutting to the inside. He's creative off the dribble. He's got great service. So as a defender, when you find yourself in those wide channels isolated in 1 versus 1, you have to honor every aspect of his ability. And because he can do it all, it makes it very, very difficult. And so to try to stop one, you make yourself vulnerable to the other. So I think that's part of why it's sort of the old triple threat in basketball, if you will. I think that's part of why Lance Lang does so well coming in off that left-hand side, because he's very difficult to defend.
The 2 outside players, Lang and Escalante, have been fantastic tonight as we begin the second half. San Antonio, once again in their home kits, black trimmed in red and white. RGV Toros FC in their away white kits trimmed in blue and orange. Along with Lansky and our entire crew, I'm Dan Weiss. Great to have you with us. The final 45 minutes of the regular season with San Antonio needing at least 1 point to have hope until tomorrow. St. Louis and Oklahoma City underway in the second half. And again, Swope Park Rangers playing tomorrow, which is a little anticlimactic. You'd almost like to see, kind of like Major League Soccer does, everybody playing not only on the final day of the regular season, Lance, but at the same time to really see, you know, those playoff races develop in real time.
It certainly adds to the drama, and as you said at the halftime break, you're talking about the top teams in the table.
As this ball comes in on Cardoni, he's got to tip it over goal on a service from all the way out wide on the right side there.
Going back to it, you're talking about the teams at the top end of the table. As we see that ball again, challenging Cardoni all the way to that back corner. That was, I think, what they call a chacross, somewhere between a shot and a cross.
Chacross. First corner of the evening for RGV. Service to the back post off Cochran. We'll do it again. Cabrera will take it over on the right side. Well, now I'll actually leave it for Todd Wharton, who will come across the field.
But to the point of adding to the element of the final day, I think there's so much to be said for that. Everyone, you know, nobody's sitting at home watching somebody else. Everyone is having to pay really close attention to it. Everyone's having to put their best performance out on the day. There's just something about that final day, especially when there's so much to be played for.
Back-to-back corners for RGV here to open the second half. Here's Wharton, right-footed outswinger. Good ball to the back post, headed out, however, by Hedrick. And Guzman fighting for it there, along with Perea. And a throw for RGV. Aguilar coming over along now here with Sheldon Sullivan. Kyle Adams across to Todd Wharton. Omar Ontiveros out wide. Enriquez, Wharton. What are you seeing, Lance, from San Antonio defensively here to open in the second half?
Really, I see a lot of what we saw in the first half. They're doing a good job of just filling up those seams, compressing centrally, not really giving away easy build-up to RGV, making it hard. RGVFC are having a hard time really connecting meaningful passes, getting good pressure in and around the ball. They're doing a fairly decent job of getting that second defender support. Some of the best, I think, team defending I've seen from SAFC in quite a while in terms of really addressing the different aspects of the game as a defensive group, as a unit.
Vertical ball deflected off Cyprian Hedrick. The clearance, however, is made by Cochran. And an injured San Antonio FC player.
It's Mikey Lopez.
Who I think got caught up in that errant ball that went off Cyprian Hedrick on the attack there with Carlos Small. It was actually Enriquez got him. Beg your pardon. So Escalante returning it back. Kyle Adams on the reset here for RGV Toros FC. Sullivan, Adams, pressure from Guzman, return ball, Michael Nelson. Upfield on Averos.
Good read from Hedrick there.
Ethan Bryant. Averos comes back with the interception. Enriquez, he's got Small out wide on the left side. Enriquez, the ball to Small, edge of the box. Carlos Small to his right back foot, returns Jesus Enriquez, cross in for Small, puts it through Cardoni and in, and Carlos Small, the equalizer in the 51st minute, levels the game at 1.
Just as I was praising the defensive effort from SAFC, really it started, we'll start here, just that ball across it. First time, Matt Cardoni goes right underneath him. But that started from a change of possession. We saw Cyprian Hedrick slip in, win the ball back to Ethan Bryant. Ethan Bryant loses it, just in that transitional moment, they had started to get numbers forward at SAFC, and that left them vulnerable for that attack down this weak side, which is where they were able to find space and found really just enough of it. But overall, just really poor collectively there from SAFC in that part of the game to put themselves in a difficult situation, one where they, you know, they've just potentially expended points tonight here that they don't have the ability to expend and really be in the best position possible.
Early in the second half, Carlos Small, his 5th goal in 15 matches with RGV. He's been really the lone attacking bright spot for RGV tonight, so no surprise to see him on the board. Can San Antonio counter here? And another hard challenge as Pekka is down across the field with Manny Padilla arguing a little bit.
And it just looked like that challenge in from RGV was just a straight leg. Can't see that from the first run through. No, I just came through the inside there of Pekka's ankle. Challenging for the ball. But again, SAFC find themselves in a position now where they're 1-1. They've given up really what I would consider to be a pretty soft goal. And disappointingly so, because as you were talking about at the halftime show, being in the driver's seat and really propelling themselves forward through this last couple of weeks of the season, considering all the circumstances where they were, but now doing the best they can to best position themselves, and then to give up a soft goal here in the opening minutes of the second half and in such a meaningful night.
Well, the pressure has always been on SAFC coming into these last couple of weeks of the season, but their goal tonight, even though they needed help in some form, was to essentially put the pressure off them and onto somebody else. And now the pressure is back on them again. They are not eliminated with a point tonight. They just make it that much more difficult on themselves because they're basically letting Swope off the hook a little bit from trying to earn a victory tomorrow. They could get in with just a single point. So we'll see what happens here over these final 37 minutes tonight. There's still a lot to be played. The question is, you know, clearly the response for San Antonio, which again, I think if you look across the board at the numbers, San Antonio has been dominant in tonight's match. I had a feeling RGV was going to be pretty content only being down 1, though, going into halftime. They don't score very much, but they are tough to score upon. And Michael Nelson has not had a defeat at all in his 6 previous matches this season. Potentially still able to keep that streak alive here on the final night of the regular season for RGV. Enriquez with pressure coming and will finally get foul after there was contact from King and Pekka. And now a dangerous free kick here for RGV. Right at the corner edge of the box.
Well, as you said, Dan, there's just still so much to be played tonight. But there's got to be a point of concern for the general apathy, it seems, that SAFC have come into the second half with. Just not the same team. You know, I think in those first few minutes, they were just continuing to build on that defensive effort, but how quickly that dissolved, and they've found themselves the last couple of times really looking out of sorts. Not particularly organized.
Aguilar over the ball, back post. Cardoni was there. Escalante, first touch for him in the second half after he had the ball a lot at his feet to start the game tonight. And now on the counter once again is Enriquez upfield. Will serve it out to the right side. Wharton. Cabrera Jr. return ball here. This one whipped across the face of goal. It'll go all the way out to the touchline, saved by Enriquez. Pressure from Darnell King, able to work the ball away, but will be a throw here for RGV.
Enriquez finding a lot of the ball here in these last few moments.
Perea slipped one in and right past Wilmer Cabrera Jr.'s feet. Hedrick with Small creating a little havoc.
San Antonio have to find a way to play the ball successfully through these lines.
And not the best ball from Mo Hernandez, who then gets turned inside out. Carlos Small into the box and lost possession. As he was trying to communicate with Enriquez, turns into a counter for San Antonio. Defended though well by Sheldon Sullivan, impedes San Antonio's progress a little bit forward. Nice cheeky ball from Ethan Bryant for Escalante into the box. Service across and deflected away from Cheno Guzman. As San Antonio finally gets some pressure here in the attacking third, and they'll go quickly. Guzman across. Lopez couldn't get underneath it.
And as you said, a great ball that last time down by Ethan Bryant to find Escalante. Jose Escalante just absolutely refuses to use his right foot for anything. He played that ball across with his left. So if he'll pull the ball back in with his right foot across the face, it's coming back into the path of the runners. And he just won't use it. Unfortunately, just the path it took, the pace it had, the rotation, the movement of the ball, didn't really give Guzman the best chance to finish on the end of that ball.
Perea, Cabrera, turning on Cochran, slips it back. Aguilar outside the box, return ball intended for Cabrera, picked off. Cochran with a clearance, poor touch though upfield by Ever Guzman. And back on the ball here is RGV. Enriquez, good challenge there from Escalante. A little bit of contact from King, but they'll play on. And Escalante keeping it alive before he's hauled down from behind by Carlos Small. The caution will go up on Small here in the 58th minute.
So Escalante trying to carry up that touchline, drawing a little bit of contact from Small.
So 3 yellows tonight on RGV, and Gerson Echeverry, the head coach for RGV, he's seen his club be assessed 3 cautions tonight. And there's been time, I'm sure, where he feels there's been contact on San Antonio that has been let go. And that's right now what his argument is with Saturn referee Alejandro Marscal at this point. And while they continue to discuss, they go into the 60th minute in St. Louis, where the game remains 0-0. St. Louis and OKC Energy FC. Not a result right now. If that would hold through, that would favor San Antonio. Frankly, nor is the one that is currently here at Toyota Field in a 1-1 game. Guzman, does he have some more magic in him tonight? Darnell King, as Ethan Bryant was making the run on that setup from King, and it was tracked well.
Yeah, Kyle Adams did a great job there, just following Ethan Bryant's run through. And the ball was a little bit heavy from Darnell King, but really Ethan Bryant has got to find a way to get a surface of his frame, of his body on that ball, to get possession there. Such a dangerous area to have possession. He's good with the ball at his feet. He's got to find a way to get a touch on that ball.
Rafa Castillo's getting loose. The San Antonio sideline right now, and foul. And free kick awarded here for RGV. Jesus Enriquez. Small, watched by Hedrick. Small turns back to the outside, trying to spin out of the challenge. Served it, it was intercepted by King, back the other way. Here's Pekka. Him and Wharton collide, they continue on, and Wharton is down, favoring his right knee right now. They're gonna call a foul on Pekka here?
turning into the San Antonio train station, Toyota Field tonight. Definitely was a long touch, but I think Pekka did enough to keep possession there.
Off of Darnell King, and a throw here for RGV. And now again, the complexion of the game has changed, being level at 1 rather than with the lead, and Darren Powell has to start thinking perhaps a little bit more about players who can put the ball in the back of the net here in the second half.
They've certainly got to change the trajectory of the game at this point, whether it's going to be with the personnel that are on the field or whether you're going to bring somebody in who can bring a bright spot. You can certainly think, as you look on the list of players that are on the bench tonight, of a short list of those that can do exactly that. How long do you wait? How long do you stay with the players that are on? You know, those are all decisions that they're trying to make as a staff, but they certainly recognize how much more valuable 3 points is tonight than 1.
Toros make the run. Return ball, Wilmer Cabrera inside the box, maintaining his possession. Looked like he put it perhaps off the hand of the defender, but they play forward. And San Antonio now on the counter. Hernandez trying to fight his way through Todd Wharton. He does, playing it off to Lance Lang, who has been ominously quiet here in the second half so far. Cheno Guzman whips it across, headed out by the Toros. Boy, I'd love to go back and take a look and see if San Antonio maybe got away with a handball inside the box there on that last possession. Darnell King coming forward here. And a good job by Adams stepping up, knocks it away. Enriquez here coming upfield. Small and Cabrera joining him. Small will settle it at his feet, returns it into the middle of the park. Perea, he's got some time, gives it a go, just wide of Matt Cardoni in the frame.
This game really getting stretched out here. You're starting to see players looking fatigued. That time Darnell King trying to make a run forward, wasn't able to connect, not able to get back. You talked about Lance Lang being quiet. He's really spent the entirety of this of this second half, pulled all the way inside that sort of inner wide channel and not giving any width, but Greg Cochran also hasn't been successful in getting into that wider space.
Lopez looking in Ethan Bryant's direction. Nice ball to the byline, try to whip it across off the defender, and it'll be a corner for San Antonio.
You like what Ethan Bryant is doing with his movement to find himself in these little spaces, on the other end of these little vertical balls into the box.
Here's that last sequence, went off the body of Cyprian Hedrick, not off the hand. Good no call there from the center referee. And here's San Antonio's fourth corner of the match, as Rafa Castillo getting loose and getting ready to come in. Short play by Escalante, and then just let it roll off him on a way too heavy touch. And here's Carlos Small now on the counter. And just trying to catch Cardoni off his line, drives the length of the field.
Yeah, it was not well taken there from Small. Almost as poorly taken as that last corner from SAFC. You think about those opportunities. Lance Lang obviously not making his way all the way across to take that last corner. Perhaps a sign of fatigue. Left it for Escalante, and just not a good combination.
So here comes Mr. Dependable, Rafa Castillo, the 38-year-old, into the 65th minute in place of Mikey Lopez. Castillo's dealt with a lot of injury this season. This is his 13th appearance of the season, and a very crucial final 25 minutes for San Antonio FC to try to push ahead. Rafa, who's got 11 career goals with San Antonio in his 61 games played. He's got his first touch here. Castillo, the strike well wide of goal. We know one thing about Rafa, Lance. He's not afraid to shoot.
From anywhere in the half. From anywhere in the half. And he's another very good ball striker. We talked about what Lance Lang brings as a ball striker. Rafa Castillo, very good ball striker as well.
Cesar Elizondo in, Jose Escalante out in the 66th minute. Escalante was great in the first 15 minutes tonight, Lance. They really attacked that right flank. San Antonio was back on their heels a little bit defensively in the second half, but they have not gone to that right side as much as the game progressed along.
Yeah, and they've forced Escalante every time they came down, and I was critical of his final ball throughout the game and not willing to use that right foot, but they really forced him into this outside channel, which is not as comfortable for him. He likes to cut in on the left side, or coming in from this right side onto the left, and wasn't able to do that very successfully as the game went on. Certainly this RGVFC team know him well.
As Lang puts it down into the welcoming loves of Michael Nelson. So Cesar Elizondo and Rafa Castillo in. That's 21 all-time San Antonio FC goals between the two of them. And that's exactly what Darren Powell is looking for here over these last 24 minutes tonight. Elizondo, Ethan Bryant. Cesar Elizondo running on Sheldon Sullivan. Serves a low ball in that's easily cleared by Kyle Adams. Upfield, Enriquez, hard tackle there by Darnell King, who's going to look like he's going to earn himself a caution here. A yellow on King in the 68th minute. Darnell arguing he went for the ball. Let's see.
Almost tough to see whether there was contact. Certainly Enriquez did a great job of creating the image of contact. But, from my standpoint, the center official is far too far away from that to be able to make a decision. He's guessing at best. And so for me to go to pocket and to come out with a caution, you have to know for sure. And I just don't think from that angle, from that distance, he's able to see that for sure. But in the end, he's in control of the match.
Small gets around two defenders there, right in between King and Hedrick. And finally, some contact at the end dispossesses him of the ball. But what strength and what technique from Carlos Small upfield. Meanwhile, Lang onside with the ball off his back foot. Allows Ontiveros the opportunity to settle things down for RGV.
A tidy ball from Cochran there up that left-sided touchline. Lang made a great run. It was just unfortunate, the ball as it came off his touch.
Aguilar keeps it moving forward. Cabrera. Pekka shaking off the defense. It's interesting as this game progresses to see what's getting called and what's not getting called, I guess.
Good early ball there from Rafa Castillo.
Out wide, onside, Guzman. Weak ball on goal, easy save for Nelson. We'll roll it out wide here for Enriquez.
And again, that decision-making from San Antonio in the final 15 yards of the field has just got to be better. They've got to come out with more quality.
We'll get our first sub here for RGV Toros FC of the night. It's Bryce Marion, 22-year-old, played collegiately at Stanford. He's going to come on here momentarily. He's going to take out Wilmer Cabrera Jr. Meanwhile, Enriquez able to spin away from King, attacking with Cabrera on his left. Enriquez, back post just wide of that far post. But a great look at it there from Jesus Enriquez.
Enriquez did everything right there. Turned Darnell King on that tight space. And he did not miss by much. Enriquez really starting to find his form here in the second half, down this near touchline. And that battle against Darnell King.
In St. Louis in the 71st minute, 0-0 remains between St. Louis and OKC Energy FC as Bryce Marion from the defending national champion Stanford Cardinal coming on in place of Wilmer Cabrera Jr. here in the 71st minute. Defensive midfielder is Marion. And now they're putting Aguilar up top in the spot that Cabrera Jr. was. Darnell King. Elizondo. Watched by Wharton. Good ball through Sullivan, back to King. Attacking, slips it back, looking for Ethan Bryant. No contact, no foul, but a corner. And San Antonio will earn their 5th of the night.
Sheldon Sullivan a little bit unlucky to be on the wrong side of that, but good movement forward from Darnell King. Seems at the minute to have a little bit more energy to get forward than to get back. You like his willingness to make the run, try to create something here in the latter moments of this match where they really need to find a way back on top.
Rafa Castillo, the 5th Circle K corner of the match for San Antonio. Good ball to the back post, headed down but wide as Elizondo got up top. Now, throw coming up for RGV. Enriquez running on King. Enriquez, edge of the box. Enriquez spinning away from 3 defenders, slips it onside small. Back to Enriquez, shot and a great recovery by Cyprian Hedrick to force a corner.
Enriquez continues to be the factor for RGVFC, seemingly almost on his own, creating so many problems down here. Down their left side, the San Antonio right side. Very active, very creative here in the final third in these last 10 to 15 minutes.
That's Wharton. It comes right down to Cardoni. Quickly on the throw. Padilla stays back. Lang will get forward with Cochran. Drives it in Cheno Guzman's direction. Brings it down a little heavy, able to settle it outside the area.
That was that early ball we were talking about earlier in the match. Get in behind the RGV back line.
Oh, as Guzman with space, his attempt blocked. And the clearance by RGV. Small. Hernandez, it's Hernandez to win it back to Cyprian Hedrick. Pekka, middle of the field, plenty of space. Errant ball intended for Cesar Elizondo, he was looking for Cesar to make the run.
And as fresh as Cesar is, he's going to have to find a way to really stretch Sullivan here on the left-hand side.
Sullivan looks gassed. Just kind of seeing him move back up the field here.
San Antonio need to find a ball through that back line to get themselves into position to get that service across the face. Elizondo more sort of likely to try to find the ball underneath.
Enriquez able to get it back here to Sheldon Sullivan. And Darnell King hobbling back on his side of the field. Very aggressive San Antonio trying to get possession of the ball here with 15 minutes or so remaining in the match. Whatever added time. Elizondo slides it to Rafa Castillo. Castillo gives it a go. Saved by Nelson. Into the rebound to Ethan Bryant. He's out right at the edge of the box. He'll return to Elizondo. Cheno Guzman, top of the area. Back touch Castillo. Collides with Marion. There was contact, but we play on. Meanwhile, driven upfield for Carlos Small. Well done by Hedrick, although he served it right to Aguilar. Aguilar stops, hesitates, strikes, save made, rebound attempt for Small, who's off balance, and it was a save made by Cardoni.
End-to-end stuff here from both teams. finding some chances late here. RGVFC, although eliminated, are not settling for a draw. They're taking their opportunities when they come.
It's what you love about a derby game. Here's Lang. Drives it low. Nice job by, boy, Kyle Adams has played really well tonight inside the box defensively.
He's doing a great job of making those recovery runs, not allowing those San Antonio attacking players any room for comfort. Seems to find himself in great positions.
Young 21-year-old who played collegiately at San Diego State. Bryce Marion will dispossess Lance Lang of the ball. Todd Wharton. Castillo on him will return to Sheldon Sullivan. A little touch from Carlos Small as Enriquez gets behind King. Enriquez into the area. Enriquez slides it back. Nobody there for RGV. Small couldn't get over in time.
Really well played from Mo Hernandez to find himself recovered all the way back to the penalty spot, and then not just to play that ball out for a throw-in, but to keep possession of it.
Adams able to take it down to the corner and gets the clearance upfield. Over right to Rafa Castillo. Rafa, Wharton shadowing him. Mo Hernandez coming forward now. Cheno Guzman. Hernandez lifts it across. Elizondo brings it down by the touchline. Running here on Sullivan, edge of the box. Sullivan playing back, serves into the middle. Again defended out. And Sullivan able to poke it away from Elizondo. Castillo. With 10 men on the RGV side of the field right now. The urgency for San Antonio so apparent. Castillo slips it through Ethan Bryant with a turn. His goal goes wide.
Maybe there was a touch there just as it came off. Didn't seem to have much pace to it. I thought maybe there was a touch early, but clearly not. Match starting to look a little bit like the late rounds of a boxing match. But it doesn't seem like either side really has the physical capacity, but they're putting everything they have forward. And just not much to defend it.
Small, Enriquez. Jesus Enriquez switches the play across. Marion able to settle there. Cochran all over him.
See how stretched out the game is. Lots of 1-versus-1 scenarios. Anyone that finds themselves in possession of the ball.
Perea off of Castillo. Will be a throw for RGV. Ontiveros will take it. Time starting to become a factor here. And there have not been a tremendous amount of stoppages in the second half. And a long throw for Small, who gets into the area. Small slips it past Cardoni wide as it goes across the frame. A goal in the vacated net. By how they left Carlos Small seemingly unattended off that throw. A little surprising here this late. They're going to foul on Enriquez.
Small felt himself open. He started his movement from the zone where Cyprian Hedrick was and came all the way in behind Mo Hernandez. He wasn't passed on. He was allowed to stay. Obviously not offsides off of the throw-in, and found all kinds of space. SAFC backline really having a hard time at the minute.
Aguilar hops around Hedrick, out wide. Marion inside the box. Marion gives it a go, but well over goal. 80th minute in Toyota Field, about to move into the 81st. 81st minute in St. Louis, no score there. If the results hold as they currently stand, St. Louis would clinch, and San Antonio would be level in points with Swope Park Rangers, with Swope playing tomorrow afternoon against LA Galaxy 2, needing just 1 point to advance. Guzman. Kyle Adams keeping him well away from goal there. Bryant out wide. Elizondo, plenty of space. To the back post. Over Cheno Guzman. He was lurking. Cochran. Castillo. Castillo flips it in. Lang, can he bring it down? He can. Can't put it on frame, however. And the clearance by Wharton. Castillo. And a goal kick for Nelson coming up.
I like Rafa's ideas there. He's trying to play balls into those spaces in between defenders. Just not really connecting them. We saw him take a shot from 30 yards out earlier that tested Nelson. He's got to connect those passes. He's got to find the feet of San Antonio players, giving them a chance to put something together here to get the second goal of the night.
Elizondo loses it on the touchline, not happy with the call. He's got to be careful here. Yelling at the assistant referee. And Alejandro Marcical gives him a warning there. Aguilar. Heavy touch by Elizondo there and a throw for RGV. Jordan Jones getting ready to come on. He's going to take out, it looks like Carlos Small, who has done a lot of running tonight, but he's got the equalizer that has San Antonio in a precarious position. Look at Small break through 3 players there to get out of that challenge, but eventually ends up giving up possession. Hernandez back the other direction. He ran right into Sullivan, who knocked it away. Aguilar trying to switch the play, stretch the field a little bit here for RGV. As we move into the 84th minute, Padilla sends it upfield. Cochran able to return to Cardoni. Castillo. Nice ball, Lang. Play onside, across. It's off the back foot of the defender. Elizondo late getting over, perhaps on a rebound opportunity. And here's Jordan Jones coming on now for Carlos Small, making his 19th appearance of the season. 22-year-old rookie. Played at Oregon State University. Heck of a night, heck of a match for Carlos Small.
Yeah, we talked about this, just his presence, his physical presence. That Small is what he's not. That plays that role as the number 9. Very difficult. Holds players off well. Tidy and tight spaces. I feel like the area of his game as he continues to craft is going to be that final ball and what his decision making there in the final third. Scored a good goal tonight to put his team back level.
Enriquez looking Jones as he's got fresh legs. But Hedrick played him well, tracked on that ball. Jones coming back on Mo Hernandez, able to create a turnover. And again, those are fresh legs of Jordan Jones just coming on here late. Elizondo will keep it alive at the touchline. It's Mike Seth getting warmed up here. He's listed as a defender, Lance, but Mike Seth is a goal scorer in his own right. He was, for the last few seasons in Colorado Springs, the top line forward. And even though he's been Mr. Utility for San Antonio, he's come up with big goals in his career. Ethan Bryant, slow to get up. Here's Enriquez running on Hedrick. Enriquez, what a save!
What a save.
By Cardoni. Just got the fingertips on that one to keep San Antonio alive.
We've talked about how good Enriquez has been here in this second half. And it took a really special save there from Matt Cardoni to get across to his left, get that big left hand out and push that ball around the bar. And as this game has opened up, it has really suited Enriquez, who's found tons and tons of space to be able to operate, run at players, get himself in and around the edge of the box, and create good goal-scoring opportunities. We saw him with a near miss earlier where he just put it wide of frame. That one was on frame, but just a better save than it was the take.
Brian is out. Seth is in the 86th minute. Mike Seth, 17 goals in his USL career in 141 matches. Majority of those coming as a member of Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. Here's the fourth corner of the evening for RGV Toros FC to be taken by Wharton. Short play off the back of Perea, who will settle, return it out to Wharton. Enriquez now playing on the right side. Chips the ball into the box. And it goes off the hand of Ontiveros. And the final substitution, we mentioned Brandon Morales' name earlier in the match. He's going to come on for Pablo Aguilar. Morales is the first graduate of the RGV Toros FC Academy to play on the first side. 19-year-old from Pharr, Texas. And he makes his second appearance of the season, coming on for Aguilar. Lance, from what you've seen here in the second half, give or take 3, maybe 4 minutes of added time?
Yeah, I would say it's going to be in that neighborhood. Really not much room for SAFC to operate here late in the match. Really tired legs across the board. You see very little movement off the ball when they're building and trying to get forward into the final third. There's just not much left in the tank.
It's a sticky night here at Toyota Field. And right now, San Antonio's playoff hopes are sticky in their own right. Cochran trying to change that. King had a great look from the top of the area. Went off his foot. Arrived. Goal. Hedrick puts it back into the box. Sullivan gets a piece to intercept. Look out. 3-on-1 the other way. Enriquez has a man streaking open. Didn't deliver the best of balls and allows San Antonio to recover.
Good tackle there from Cyprian Hedrick. Fantastic effort from Mo Hernandez. Sorry, that was Pekka.
89th minute, Castillo across to Cochran. What a chance Darnell King had just a moment ago.
Off a great run forward from Cochran and a great delivery.
Here's the ball into the area, headed out of danger. And again,
who other than Kyle Adams?
Lance Lang struggling to get back here now. Morales putting it forward. Jones, can he get to it? He can. Another save by Cardone. Keeps his team alive. Fifth quarter coming up from RGV.
Another big save from Cardone. Last time with the left hand, this time with the right boot. Certainly given his team a chance after what I think was a little bit of a soft goal there earlier in the match, in the early stages of the second half, where it just came in underneath him. He's made a couple of big saves here.
RGV is just adding to the extenuating pressure on San Antonio here right now. Wharton on the fifth corner of the match. 90th minute in St. Louis, no score there. Ball to the back post, headed down on Cardone with the save. Quickly forward, Lang. Does he have the magic? Lang stops, sends a ball across the trailer. Oh, it's Seth, but it's Castillo who will get over out wide to take the ball. And a very deep one to the back post, but they'll say that Castillo was over the byline. That ball went over. Oh, I thought Seth was in pretty decent position as that back player, maybe coming forward to accept that ball. Maybe a gift for San Antonio. 5 minutes added time.
That's a lot of time. Fortunate for SAFC. But you're right, that last ball across, there were so many numbers forward. What a great chance. They were numbers up. They had so many players committed, but really it was the trailing player, the trailing run, and Mike Seth. It was best to get on the end of it.
Here's Marion. Into the area, defended out. And this will be no, not a throw, kept alive by Manny Padilla. Moving up that right flank, sends it in. Hedrick back out to Marion, outside the box. Taken away from him.
Excellent work from Pekka there.
Elizondo. Oh, the referee made a pick there on Nicholas Perea, who was stepping up to intercept, but San Antonio couldn't take advantage.
Really a poor ball from Elizondo. Things are going forward, and he elects to play a square ball right across in a dangerous moment, whereas if that ball gets intercepted, it can go the other way so quickly. Not a very good decision. Again, lots of loss of possession here from the San Antonio substitutes tonight, not really coming on and bringing the solidity and just the quality that they need here late in this game.
King, pressure here coming from behind. Castillo lets it go to Cochran. Cochran into the box. Can Seth get up? He cannot. Lang brought down.
That is an absolute penalty.
That play on.
That is absolutely a penalty. Fantastic job from Lang.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely a penalty.
Cochran right in the face of Marsical. Light's taken out right from Lance Lang.
And you look at the center official there in his position. You look at the assistant referee here on the near side, who has nothing else to look at but that challenge. If the right thing happens here, she's going to give the information to the center official. It was definitely a foul.
And they're going to call it a corner.
And not just because we're here in San Antonio, but that was a very, very poor decision by the officiating crew. Darren Powell couldn't be any more unhappy than he is. He knows the implications.
But San Antonio doesn't have any time to waste here. They're down to 2 minutes, maybe a little more. They've got to hurry. Castillo. He'll take the corner. 6th of the night for San Antonio. Now put a hold on that momentarily.
Sullivan, who had a very similar challenge to that in the first half that he got cautioned for. That time you just can't quite understand how.
A yellow on Wharton inside the 6-yard box here. Closing seconds in St. Louis remains 0-0. St. Louis has clinched. It is a 0-0 final in St. Louis. Castillo. Ball to the back post, headed out. Kept alive. Cochran's bid blocked out.
Great ball back in from Lang.
Castillo. Turns, sends the ball to the back post, headed, back down, turning Elizondo!
You look at the decision there from Elizondo with Ever Guzman facing the target just at the top of the box, but instead Elizondo elects to try to take that himself when he's moving away from target. What you teach young players, you can't move away from target and expect to be able to stay over the ball. Really disappointing moments here on a number of levels. Not getting that penalty call, not doing better with that final ball there. But play continues.
Guzman, edge of the box, out wide, here's Lang. Lang brings it down, sends it across. Great defense from Todd Wharton. The set of the corner. 7th coming up for San Antonio. They'll get some time here after all that has happened. And now look at Cardoni, will go all the way forward. Castillo getting it set up. Deep ball to the back post, and nobody able there to run it down. And Hedrick just able to keep it alive. Good job of the ball at his feet. Run down from behind and a foul.
Really well managed there from Cyprian Hedrick, who is no doubt very fatigued. Found a way. That's just what Cyprian Hedrick does. I feel like he just finds a way. And that time he found a way to keep possession, keep himself in good position, ultimately win a free kick here. Could be a very important free kick. Can San Antonio get some sort of opportunity here they can capitalize on?
Castillo, ball dripped into the back post. It's a corner. It goes off the defender.
These overhit balls from Castillo really just getting the San Antonio players too far beyond that far post. We've seen that a few times already. Just got to take a little bit off of that service and keep it on the frame.
Minute and a half past the added time here. Here's Lance Lang to take it. Whipped in, headed into the box, cleared out. That should do it. It will. They finish level in the final installment of the South Texas Derby, 1-1. As Darren Powell shakes hands with Gerson Echeverry. San Antonio players. And Darren Powell right to the center referee for a word. Shakes hands. Darren not letting it fester here at the end. 1-1 the final for San Antonio. Disappointing, Lance doesn't eliminate them. They need Swope Park Rangers now to lose tomorrow afternoon at home against LA Galaxy 2 for San Antonio to advance.
One way or the other tonight, no matter whether they got a point or 3 points, they were going to need some help. They still need some help. They just need a little bit more than certainly they probably should have. Should have done better tonight, I think, in the end. Had some chances, let in a soft goal. Not quite the way they wanted to, I think, finish up their season here on this final home game. But in the end, all they can do now is, all the rest of us can do now, is sit and wait for that result tomorrow afternoon up at Swope Park.
Well, this wraps up 3 years for San Antonio FC here at home. It's been another pleasure doing these games with you, and enjoy the offseason. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But whether we do another game this season or next year, it's been fun, partner. Enjoyed every minute of it. Your club season temporarily ends for at least a day. We'll see whether they continue on in the postseason. Swope Park Rangers, LA Galaxy 2 tomorrow afternoon to decide for that 8th and final playoff spot. Who will go on? Who will go home? Your final, San Antonio FC 1, RGB FC Toros 1. For Lansky, I'm Dan Weiss. Thanks for joining us. This has been a presentation of the USL and Spurs Sports and Entertainment. So long, everybody.